program.
Well, Syracuse has won the toss. They elect to start on offense. They prefer it that way. So right out of the chute, some good luck for Dino Babers and Syracuse. 6-3 coming in, 3-2 in the ACC. But they have dropped 3 in a row after they opened the season on a 6-game winning streak. Fitzgerald kicking off, and that one through the end zone. It'll come out to the 25. To begin the drive, we go downstairs to Kelsey Riggs.
Well, guys, as you mentioned, it will be Garrett Schrader starting at quarterback, which is great news for the Orange. He split reps at practice this week with their backup, Carlos Del Rio Wilson, so it was a true game-time decision. Coaches said it really came down to if he's able to be productive, how he moves the ball and how he looked in warm-ups. Obviously, they felt good about him, but their offensive coordinator, Robert and I, told us it is not just about him. It is not just about Sean Tucker, and it is not just about Oronde Gadsden. They need the offensive weapons around them to step up as well to win.
Well, Schrader's been held out the last 6 quarters because of the leg injury. His first touch in a while. Nearly lost his footing, got it away, but incomplete. Batted away by FSU. And that one intended for Oronde Gadsden, the tight end. At least they call him a tight end. Everybody else calls him a wide receiver.
And he plays like a wide receiver. They move him around like a wide receiver. And I'm a little interested in this. Schrader, usually a fairly eager quarterback to leave the pocket, stood in there and it got all the way through a progression without trying to leave. I wonder if that has anything to do with his leg injury.
On the handoff, here's Tucker trying to negotiate his way through. He's going to pick up 6 yards. And you expect an even heavier workload for him tonight?
I think you have to. There's been, some criticism of his lack of touches, especially in the second half of football games. And he's been their best offensive player throughout the entire season. We talk about a big 3 with Schrader, Gadsden, and Tucker, but really Tucker is the guy that they want to revolve things around in their offense.
Also an exceptional pass catcher as well. Now on the move, Schrader. Takes a backward fall on his rear end and tangled up with Tatum Bethune. Picks up just 1 yard there. And Schrader last year against FSU ran for 3 touchdowns and 137 yards.
Yeah, I think Schrader got, surprised by the snap. I think it was kind of a false start there where the ball was snapped and the offensive line really didn't move. I think Oronde Gadsden, had some confusion about whether it was a false start or not. And Schrader gets stuck with the football and just is able to get back to the line of scrimmage.
So the Orange on 4th and 3, punting away. Micah Pittman standing back at the 26-yard line, ready to receive that. And Pittman, an outstanding wide receiver, a little slip there. He'll be taken out short of the 30-yard line. That slip cost him, but it's a 43-yard punt now. On the quarterback side for Florida State, Jordan Travis, he passed for 3 touchdowns last week against Miami. He's an all-purpose guy.
And listen, he is an all-around player. Dave manages the pocket well, as you see there. The deep ball accuracy has been something that's been much improved from early on in his career. That's last week to Pokey Wilson, and he is still an elite runner. This is Barrett Carter in the open field, who's a tremendous player for Clemson. And that's not down in flag football. Jordan Travis can do it all as an excellent college quarterback.
Very balanced offensive attack for the Seminoles. And when they do air it out, it's usually for a very serious gain. They average 14 yards per completion. And a short one here for Pittman. Jordan Travis. Hometown West Palm Beach last week. 3 TDs, a career high, tying a career high against Miami. They just smoked Miami. So they are on a big time roll coming in. They're also into the top 25 once again at number 23. And a handoff for Benson, the top back. He gets the edge. Trying to cut it back inside, but a big gainer, a first down. Eventually shoved out by Isaiah Johnson, but he's going to gain 26.
Yeah, it's just a really good job of the guys on the edge. Looking at McDonald and Preston Daniel doing a good job of sealing the edge for Benson, and then you see Benson's speed.
Benson with back-to-back career-high rushing games gets another carry here. 128 yards, 2 touchdowns against Miami. He was the guy last week.
Yeah, he certainly was, and it's really a 3-headed monster at the running back position, but Benson has a lot of speed. He's still a young player. Was started at Oregon, had injuries there, but he's been healthy and been really productive for the Seminoles.
Pittman trying to bounce outside. Gets free. And once again picks up a first down.
Plays like that, I think, are perfect for Micah Pittman because he's basically like a running back playing wide receiver. And so these, jet sweeps or touch passes to him, you see the strength and power. I mean, he literally is built like a running back, almost like, if you're a Florida State fan, like a Lavernius Coles from back in the day, a guy who's a running back who, has receiver skills as well.
Travis on play action will dump that one to his receiver, and McDonald will pick up yet another first down. In the ACC, only NC State and Miami have allowed fewer first downs than Syracuse, but the Noles are flat moving it.
Yeah, and they have Syracuse off balance right now. We've seen it all kind of. We've seen the touch pass, we've seen the run game, and now we see a slip screen to a tight end. Doing a good job of calling this opening drive. 3
wideouts to the left here. The Noles trying to punch it in on their very first possession. Travis going to keep it and duck and spin. Broke several tackles. It just kept on churning to get inside that 5. That's an 8-yard gain.
Yeah, and that's talk about Garrett Schrader being a tough physical runner. Well, how about Jordan Travis? This is quarterback counter. He just does a nice job of sifting his way through it, and then after the initial contact, it will spin out of it for a few more.
At the 4-yard line, 2nd and 2. And on a handoff, getting it to Toffoli. It'll be a 1-yard gain, and so they're going to be 3rd and short here. Isaiah Johnson, the transfer out of Dartmouth, with the stop.
Yeah, and Florida State going with a silent count on this opening drive, and down here, short yardage situations, we'll make sure you don't shoot yourself in the foot.
Toffoli the back. Quarterback's going to keep it and into the end zone for 6. Jordan Travis with a carry from 3 yards out. And boy, that was a blink of an eye into the end zone.
Yeah, and that's a great reaction by Jordan Travis. It's a read play. And, as the back gets covered up at the mesh point, just does a nice job of getting north and south and opens everything up. And, a bit of a swinging gate look on the extra point try to make sure Syracuse lines up to it correctly.
Brian Fitzgerald, the sophomore who beat Syracuse last year in Tallahassee with a field goal from 34 yards as time expired. On for the extra point, and will nail that. So you talk about a fast start.
It was Trey Benson with a good run, and then Jordan Travis, who's been good all season long, reading it, punching in as the Noles try to quiet the crowd here at Syracuse effectively on their opening drive.
So the Orange inside the Loud House trying to answer and off into the end zone. So Schrader will get his second crack at it, and so will Sean Tucker, needing just a handful of yards, 30 yards rushing for 4th place in school history.
It's impressive what Sean Tucker's done.
Takes the handoff to the left side. The initial carry here on this drive. I mentioned he's an outstanding pass catcher, 234 receptions, so he is central to the success of the Orange tonight.
He has such great speed, power, and vision. And listen, I've compared him to Austin Eckler, the Chargers running back in the past. He reminds me of him. He's good in the passing game as well, and I think he's really a complete back and a fine player.
Rushed for over 100 yards last year against FSU, going nowhere here as he is tied up on his second carry. Renardo Green got him for loss of 4.
And, here he just tries to bounce this back, and we've seen Garrett Schrader at times come up with, kind of those wind back blocks by the quarterback. And just the block on the edge by DeMarcus Adams didn't hold up, and good job of the pursuit by Florida State defensively.
Empty backfield here for Schrader on 3rd and long. Syracuse off to a choppy start. Schrader with pressure, here they come, and they're going to get him. Down he goes fast. And that was Payton all over him, the defensive end. Patrick Payton is 6'5", 250.
And Payton has a free run at the quarterback. It's zero blitz. It's all out blitz. And Peyton's going to come from inside here. Both these guys end up blocking out. And ultimately what ends up happening is you get a free run on the quarterback. You can't block them all because it's zero coverage. The ball needs to come out immediately. Schrader didn't see it. Easy sack for Peyton.
So the second straight 3 and outs for Syracuse. Von Marburg back to punt again for the second time. And got that one very, very short. That'll bounce around midfield. Picked up by Pittman. And he's going to be stacked up just across midfield.
You know, feels a little bit differently than beating a rival, which Florida State did last week with the big win over Miami.
So Travis's second drive, going to air it out short. And a catch made by Wilson. Wilson with some extra yards after the catch. Ontario Wilson, his 21st reception last week, a 56-yard touchdown pass play.
Holding, offense number 14, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Jeff Flanagan, our referee, on the flag.
And so here's Johnny Wilson, and I think that he does a good job on the initial contact. His hand's just too wide, and when your hands are that wide and outside, it's just easy for the official to see it.
By the way, FSU's last winning season, hard to believe it was 2017.
That's a surprising statistic, no doubt.
The incredible success the program has had over the years. But under Norvell, building their way back. Out here on the side, and the tackle will be made by Marlowe Wax on a 2-yard gain.
Yeah, and Marlowe Wax, a guy whose name we'll probably say a bunch tonight. Both he and Michael Jones, the other linebacker, really been good players for this program, and you know, not playing behind a huge front, and so the fact that they're able to make as many plays as they do was pretty impressive.
Second down, 15. Travis short over the middle, gets it off to the tight end McDonald. Number 1 tight end, his 16th reception. That'll gain 8 yards. Offensive coordinator for Syracuse, Tony White. His defense with 3 touchdowns this season. Looking for a big stop here on 3rd and 7. And a crowd noise, well, they're hoping that's going to be a big factor. If you talk to NC State and their coaches, it was a giant reason that they were beaten in that game. Travis with some time. Fires an incomplete on the near sideline. Intended for Johnny Wilson, but off his fingertips.
Yeah, I think Steve Linton got a good jump inside. You mentioned, you know, the crowd noise and how that can affect and going on a silent count. If you don't switch the silent count up, the defense can tee off on it. And then Johnny Wilson just slips at the top of his route, not able to come out of it. And Deuce Chestnut, who's had a very good year at corner, pretty good coverage.
Mentioned NC State, by the way, a shocking loss in a conference earlier today to Boston College by 1 point, as Jackson with a fair catch after a 37-yard punt. Florida State on top 7-0 here in the first quarter. Syracuse head coach Dino Babers, 7th year at the helm, just 1-4 against FSU. Very much a hands-on guy, quite literally helping out Trevor Pena, the wide receiver here.
Well, Pena switching numbers because he's playing on special teams, you know, at the same time as Marlowe Wax, and when you do that, you need to make sure you don't have 2 twos, and more you can do. So Coach Babers helping out.
SU with a long way to go on this one. 1st and 10 inside their own 10-yard line, and Tucker with the carry, and the stop by DJ Lundy, linebacker, who also doubles as a fullback on occasion.
Yeah, kind of one of those, kind of that fullback body type, and so you're kind of one of those thumpers inside, and playing a Syracuse offense. Syracuse likes to run the football and run it inside. Lundy getting some snaps.
See if Schrader can loosen up a little bit. He's such a bruising runner when he's healthy, but certainly not 100% coming into this game. Does have 20 career rushing touchdowns. The clock down to 3. And a whistle. And a flag on 2nd and 5.
Timeout. Syracuse. First charge timeout. The timeout will be 30 seconds.
Timeout, 5.5 to go here in the first. Now looking back at Schrader, he's been banged around several times because of his style. We think this is where it happened. Quite obviously he was injured on this play, but this is where the most significant one was. Couldn't even stand up.
And as he's getting up, obviously some discomfort. And, you know, I think too, we're just looking at the Syracuse offense with how they've seemed a little off is, he doesn't play last week, so it's been a while. And I also know that he didn't practice last week prior to the Pitt game. Dave, you mentioned earlier that he did split reps this week, and so the offense struggled without him. But even with him back in the lineup, you know, this is a guy that hasn't had a ton of work over the past couple weeks.
Number 8 all-time at Syracuse in touchdowns. He's responsible for 43. That's in just 17 starts in his career. Tucker with the carry, Lundy with another tackle, and got nothing there.
It just feels like they've been a little out of sorts. You see the high snap there, and just, you know, somewhat sloppy, if you will, offensively. When you think about a snap on the previous 3rd down that came quickly, Schrader getting stuck with the ball in the pocket a few times, and so I do think they need to settle down on offense.
3rd and 5. FSU, by the way, number 1 in the conference in pass defense. Really tough to throw the football against. And that one's going to be broken up and intended for Gadsden right along the sideline. Renardo Green with another stop.
And it's a back shoulder throw to Gadsden, and I think Gadsden just does a bad job of looking too soon. See how early he looks back? When you're throwing a back shoulder route, you want to make sure that you are late with your hands and eyes, because that's the only way the defensive back can play it. If you look back too soon, it gives it away, and it also slows you down as you're looking back for the football. And so that's one there where I really think Oronde Gadsden can help his quarterback out.
Renardo Green, a junior, very proud of his work. 3rd straight 3 and out for SU. Forced to punt it away again. Pretty good one. Pittman right around the 40. Gets away. Spins. And eventually taken down shy of the 50-yard line. Once again, excellent field position. A penalty hurt FSU the last time. Let's get down to Kelsey.
Well, guys, I got to catch up with Jordan Travis this week, and you mentioned early that dominating win that they had over Miami this week. Jordan Travis told me the focus is on them, but they've got to come in each week with the goal to dominate. He said that's the mindset for him, and I asked him where that word comes from. He said it just comes from, quite honestly, this team has done a lot of losing over the years. They're tired of it. They don't want to just come out and beat teams anymore. He said we need to come out and dominate each and every week, trying to build off of that emotional win last week.
Kelsey, thank you. 1st down and 10. FSU's a big strike offense. Don't be fooled. They lead the country with 69 plays of 20 yards or more. They can hurt you. And Ward with that carry on 1st down will gain 5.
You know, Dave, one of the reasons I think they create so many big plays is they create big plays in the run game, and they have that balance, but they also have a quarterback that's a dangerous runner, and then good receivers for shots down the field.
Empty look here for Travis, and complete to Pittman. Will pick up the 1st down. Micah Pittman at 5 catches, 85 yards against Wake Forest. He'll gain 10 there. Taken down by Justin Barron.
You know, it's interesting that, you know, as we see Pittman, he's been involved heavily so far. Just seems like it's a different receiver nearly every week for Florida State that seems to be the focal point.
On 1st and 10, bouncing around, it's Treshaun Ward. It's a great story. He went from a preferred walk-on, paying his own way, to a full scholarship athlete, greatly helping his family's financial situation. Mike Norvell told us that was a great call to make to that kid, to tell him you are now on full scholarship.
Yeah, he's a good player, and Mike Norvell, you know, kind of raved about his running backs, and Alex Atkins basically said to us he still has that walk-on mentality even though he's on scholarship.
Mike had to call him because it was during the COVID pandemic. There's Travis on the move. Over the middle and caught. Douglas with a tough catch and a 15-yard gain.
And good job of Jordan Travis. Pressure up the middle by Darden. Escape out to the right. Remain a passer and do a good job of finding Douglas, who does an excellent job working for his quarterback.
So the Noles on the move again here late in the first quarter. Up 7-0. And Ward with another carry, but a flag down. 2:48 to go in the quarter.
Offside. Defense number 12. Player made contact. 5 yards. Still first down.
And where Sparrow, the linebacker, a freshman out of Virginia Beach, Virginia, draws the penalty. So first down and 5 here for the Noles. Two very good defensive teams. The Orange allowing just 18.4 points per game. Number 1 in the ACC in total defense. Looking for a big stop here. Aired out to McLean. McLean's going to get free. He's into the end zone. 15 yards and another touchdown strike for the Seminoles.
What a play by Malik McLean. And the ball's just spit out to him at the line of scrimmage. And Jeremiah Wilson, the true freshman, is out there in space with him. Just go up and make the tackle, but that stiff arm was an impressive one by McLean, who's 6'4", going up against the 5'10" Jeremiah Wilson.
Abused the freshman there on the corner. So Fitzgerald on for another point after, trying to make it 14-0, and he will. So a hot start for the number 23 team in the country. We talked about the momentum and all the positives coming into this game. They're playing like it.
Well, and it feels like it just in this game alone. Think about the field position. You know, starting multiple drives right at midfield. And I think this is a run play where if they get the look or get a look they don't like for the run game and you're singled up outside, it is. It's zone, run to the right. And then he just spits it out to McLean because there's a one-on-one opportunity, which they like better than the run look. I would say that's a good decision when you look at what McLean did to Wilson on the edge.
Jordan Travis 8 out of 9, 71 yards and a touchdown. He's also rushed for 1, so he is performing at a very high level right away. Douglas with his 3rd touchdown catch of the year, and now even more pressure on the back of Garrett Schrader, returning to duty tonight, but it's been very tough duty early on here. 2:26 to go in the first. 14-0 Florida State.
And I would just say this. I mean, think about the receiver room in general for Florida State. Pokey Wilson was kind of the veteran guy in the group, and the coaches talked to us about how unselfish he's been about some of the new additions, because it's been Micah Pittman and Johnny Wilson getting a lot of attention, but there's also been other guys. I think the competition has elevated the entire room.
So a touchback, it'll come to the 25-yard line. Syracuse with a 3-game losing skid since beating an excellent NC State team. They have fallen to Clemson by 6, Notre Dame by 17, and to Pitt by 10. 19-9 last week at Pittsburgh. And they have to go to Wake Forest next week.
Yeah, and they have to get something going right here. And it's got to be because Garrett Schrader starts making some plays.
Tucker breaking free out to the 40-yard line before he is dragged down. A first down, gaining 16.
Yeah, and we know they want to run the football, and this is well blocked up front. It's a read. They give it to Tucker, and you see what he can do. It's a good tackle by Akeem Dent in the open field because Tucker's hard to get down, and you just wonder if that can get this Syracuse offense rolling.
He's approaching 3,000 yards in an outstanding career, but they're going to push him outside, and he'll get nothing there. Akeem Dent chasing him.
Here's the thing. We've seen a high snap, off to Schrader's left a few times now, and here's the reality of it. When you play in one of these offenses where you're timing up motions and shifts and you're, have these mesh points for the quarterback and the running back, one of the things that's not talked about a lot but is necessary is an accurate snap, because it throws all of the timing off when you've got the quarterback back there playing shortstop.
Tucker out, Allen in at the running back. Schrader trying to keep and straight ahead. Tough sledding early for him. No gain, actually lost a yard. Fabian Lovett with that final tackle. He played with Schrader at Mississippi State.
Yeah, and it's been a struggle so far for Garrett Schrader. You know, we mentioned that Dino Baber said, you know, what it would take for him to play would be he's going to have to be effective, and right now he's just not been effective. Has not run the ball effectively, has not passed it effectively.
Tucker back in. Just the 6th back in Syracuse history to rush for over 2,800 yards. Schrader getting free. Maybe a face mask on this. Got that pass away and complete to Gadsden. Was a flag drop on an obvious face mask. 29 seconds to go in the quarter.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 6. The penalty is half a distance to the goal. First down.
So the play went for 29 and then a penalty.
Made the full 15 yards. First down.
And Syracuse on the march.
You almost feel like Garrett Schrader. He's this like tough, gritty competitor. Like, just go ahead and challenge him a little bit. You know, make him mad or something, and then next thing you know, he's going to start making plays. That's a good job. Face mask obviously in the pocket, and then delivers a nice throw to Gadsden and tack on that penalty yardage. Now Syracuse is in business.
All the way down to the 15-yard line on 1st and 10. So the Orange knocking on the door. Another big penalty. And once again, Schrader will drop down at the end of the quarter. And that is the first quarter in the books with Florida State on top 14-0, but Syracuse moving it.
Well, Syracuse moving it now, but it was all Florida State in the first quarter.
Nothing FSU. Travis says look very sharp. FSU 132 yards to Syracuse's 45, but Sean Tucker moving in on a piece of history for Syracuse. 7 yards, and now 4th in school history, closing in on Larry Zonka. Syracuse 3 drives, just a handful of yards early on, starting here at the 17. And we'll bring up 3rd down. Tucker on the carry. Tucker setting SU's single season rushing record last year, nearly 1,500 yards. That is special when you consider the legendary backs in Syracuse history, the likes of Jim Brown, obviously Larry Zonka, Floyd Little, Ernie Davis, Joe Morris. Some great running backs.
Some great running backs, and he's had a remarkable career, and I think he's a complete back. I mean, just everything about his game is impressive, and he comes off the field. Now it's going to be dependent on Garrett Schrader, most likely looking for Rondé Gadsden.
3rd and 11. On the move, pressure on him. Still on his feet. He's going to be dragged down. A stop by Kalen DeLoach, the middle linebacker, gain of 4.
And you just see the speed from the second level. Kalen DeLoach, and the strength and being able to stick with it. A lot of times we see that stiff arm be too much for a lot of defenders. Kalen DeLoach, a fiery, competitive, smart football player with good speed to get the Syracuse offense off the field prior to this field goal attempt.
Well, senior night, and here's one. Andre Schmidt, SU's all-time field goal leader with 80. He's also the all-time points leader at this school with 430 from 30 yards and perfect. To put the Orange on the board. They wanted more than that, but they get 3, 14-3 early in the second. Of Jordan Travis, the standout quarterback for FSU. He had a 396-yard passing game against Georgia Tech on his resume, so there are many different ways that he can do damage.
Yeah, just a versatile player, and a player that's improved throughout his career, which, I think we see guys transfer and move all the time. It's pretty cool to see. Well, he's been a great runner for his entire career, and Where he's really improved is in the passing game, and so I think some of that is just a confidence. I feel like Mike Norvell and his coaching staff almost had to kind of teach him and coach him out of this idea that he wasn't a good player from inside the pocket. You know, it was like, hey, you're so good at running, if you don't like it, just go ahead and take off and run. And I think in some ways that can start to handcuff you. So they coached him out of it.
Benson to the left side as we get on to Kelsey Riggs.
Well, guys, it's not just his confidence that's grown. When I talked to Jordan this week, he also said he's learned a lot from the losses this year. He said in particular that loss to NC State, he threw a pick on the last play of the game that sealed the deal. He said last year he would have really let that get to him. He would have heard the people talking. He would have seen things on Twitter. This year, he says it's a lesson, not a loss. He's learning from it. He's moving forward, and that's helped them get back on the win column. Very
impressive in the victory over Miami, and that ball comes free, and Syracuse is going to collect it on the fumble, and in great field position. The forced fumble by Derek McDonald, and Syracuse comes away with it. Justin Barron, the rover, fell on the football, and Syracuse in business.
Well, and Derek McDonald, who's in because of an injury, he's coming from right here. Watch Jordan Travis. He's going to fake like it's quarterback counter. Like it's run. He's going to kind of get up in the line of scrimmage. He just holds the ball a split second too long, and McDonald, I think, ends up identifying that it's not a run, gets to the corner, and then does an excellent job of swiping. I guess he didn't even swipe at it. Just his helmet hits the back of Travis's right arm. Ball comes out. It's just good effort and a big stop by this Syracuse defense.
And Syracuse with 17 takeaways by the defense. Been a big reason for their 6-3 record as Tucker hauls in the reception. Syracuse on their first 3 drives went 3 yards, no first downs total. On the last drive, 48 yards and 3 first downs. So started to look a lot better.
Yeah, a lot better. And you know, the Syracuse defense, they play fast and with fire and with passion, and that's what Tony White talks to them about. And if they don't, he said they don't have a shot, and clearly fighting through some of that early adversity.
Tucker, they saw that one coming as if they were in the huddle. Joshua Farmer, very disruptive as the nose tackle. Hauled him down for a 5-yard loss.
And I think it's a bad read by Schrader. As Tucker's coming this way, you're going to read this edge player. If he comes up the field, then Schrader's just got to go ahead and keep the football and run it inside. That's the decision that you're making. Farmer collapses down, give the ball to Tucker. If not, Schrader should end up keeping it.
Empty backfield on 3rd and 16. Schrader back as the starter tonight for SU. Pressure, down he goes again. Taken down by Jared Verse. Mel Kiper has him number 4 among defensive ends. A 7-yard loss. There was a flag dropped as well.
Sideline warning, Florida State. That's their first warning.
So some extra celebrating as Mike Norvell gets that.
Well, listen, Jared Verse coming off of the right side of the left side of the screen. He just does a good job with his swim move. He's getting him down, and then Kalen DeLoach kind of finishing it off.
Helmet to helmet.
Number 54 for Syracuse is wearing number 97.
So it's going to be a 53-yard attempt by Schmidt. A long one coming and nowhere near. On 4th and 22, going for a long kick. So at exactly 11 minutes to go before halftime, it's FSU leading Syracuse 14-3.
Football is the game of life.
And it brings the community together. White, black.
Army for a job well done with all of the men and women who protect us so well. And we're so very proud of all of them. First down and 10. And on a handoff, Benson trying to center the line. Trey Benson, who's rushed for 3 touchdowns this season, stopped by Gear. But will gain 5.
If you think about what just happened, Florida State just turned the ball over in their own end. and then in a blink of an eye, because of a missed field goal and a sack, have the ball in better field position. I mean, that's a pretty good sudden change by the Florida State defense.
Yeah, after that fumble recovery, 3 plays, just 12 yards. And that was it. Benson with the carry once again. Johnson with the stop. Isaiah Johnson, the Dartmouth transfer. He was all Ivy League there. A big corner, too, at 6'3".
Yeah, I mean, you would think that that length would help if, you know, he finds himself on some of these taller Florida State wide receivers.
Like Johnny Wilson.
Exactly.
Who's 6'7", 235 pounds. First down and 10. Into the flat. They saw that one coming. Philly with the reception, but got nothing from it thanks to Jason Simmons.
And that's a nice piece of defense by Syracuse. That's essentially today's version of the triple option. That's the dive portion of it. That's the keep the quarterback running. They have a man for a man, and then that basically is the pitch man. And it's just a good job of winning in space, and Philly dropped for a loss.
Simmons, pretty crunching hit too, the junior from Lancaster, Texas. Brings up 2nd and 13 for Travis. McDonald in motion. Back in the pocket. Dumping that off short for Benson. They swarm on him. Syracuse got to him quickly. And Achukwu, the first man, and a lose 2.
This is a zone pressure. Achukwu is dropping back into coverage, and it's a really nice play because normally blitzes, when you have a screen on, you end up getting gashed. And now this place has got some energy, some noise for this 3rd and long, and Jordan Travis in this Florida State offense.
It can get noisy in here. It's been a factor in Syracuse wins. A very big factor. 3rd and long for Travis. Looking to go airborne. Now steps up. And a short toss, and that one off to number 85, Marquiston Douglas, will gain 8 yards back.
Yeah, and it's just an inaccurate throw. Otherwise, Douglas can stay up and probably get the first down. And, you know, had he been able to stay up and it be 4th and a little more manageable, I think there's a chance Florida State goes for it. But at 4th and 7, ball at midfield forces them to punt.
Yeah, right at the 50.
Number 2 for Syracuse is wearing jersey number 92.
Back to kick it. Pena standing at about the 8-yard line. And a fair catch. So a long way to go here for Syracuse. Going to have to go 95 yards here. 45-yard punt. 14-3. FS
pressure. That's the opening drive. They get on him, and then obviously they have a free runner for a sack by Patrick Payton. And picking up yards in the run game hasn't been easy either. And then this one kind of brings them back into long field goal range, which obviously led to the miss. And you know, Garrett Schrader, who coming off of an injury, has certainly taken his lumps already.
Florida State 7 tackles for a loss, including the 2 sacks. Flag dropped here in the backfield. Play starting at the 5-yard line, and a hold against the Orange. And Schrader threw a pick 6 on the game's first snap against Notre Dame on October 29th. He wasn't right, and then missed 6 quarters.
Offense number 47. Penalties half a distance to the goal. Still first down.
There's the hold, and you know, just when you're going down, the best thing to do is just let go when you're going down, because when you go down and the guy follows you down, usually it's followed by some yellow.
Let go. Tough to coach. 1st and 12. And the quarterback will keep it again. And Schrader on the move, stopped by Tatum Bethune. Got it out with a 4-yard pickup.
You can see sometimes with Garrett Schrader, he just says, like, I'm keeping it. Like, even if it's not the cleanest look, like, I'm frustrated, we're behind the sticks or whatever it may be, I'm keeping this football. And look, I think it served this offense well because he's so talented and such a gritty runner, but it's tough to do against this talented Florida State defense.
He has 2 of the top 21 ACC quarterback single game rushing performances of all time. Trying to get out of his end zone now. and fires that one into his own sideline. Had to throw that one away. The pressure coming as he was tied up in the end zone. Norvell wanted a penalty there.
Here's what Schrader's looking for. He's looking for this over route to Gadsden off of the play action. And I thought that he had him early. He came off him too quickly. And then at that point, he escapes outside the pocket. Now there's no one there. He gets outside the pocket, and the ball goes past the line of scrimmage, which is why there's no grounding, and wisely throws it away so not to take the sack.
Defensive end, excellent pressure there, Patrick Payton. So again, an empty look. He'll go short, and the pass completes and hauled in by Damian Alford. Another big target at 6'6", and a 6-yard gain. And 4th and 2.
And you see why penalties will just kill you. You know, I mean, we saw it happen to Florida State, and they got good field position. And, you know, Syracuse here, they're backed up. You know, the penalty puts you behind. Now all of a sudden, what maybe would have been a conversion, 4th down, and you're forced to punt.
So Von Marburg will be in his end zone to get this punt away. And Pittman around the 45-yard line for FSU. And a wobbly kick. And here he comes. Pittman on a spin. Crashing move there before he's bottled up. Another flag down. A flag on the play. Suddenly seeing a lot of those. Punt for 40 yards, the return 13, but a penalty.
And how about the field position? I think there's going to be a hold on Florida State, but how about the field position that Florida State keeps ending up with here?
Yeah, time and time again.
They're just starting at midfield.
We have an opportunity to grab a commanding lead here in the first half in the Dome.
Personal foul, face mask, kicking team, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, 1st down.
So it gets even better.
Yeah, looks like, you know, face mask.
Penalty was on number 47.
See it right there as Pittman has really done a nice job in the return game tonight. Seen him on the field prior to the game. He's listed at 5'11", just over 200 pounds, but I mean, he looks like he could play tailback the way that he's built.
Sure does. So at the 24-yard line of Syracuse, 1st down and 10 for the Noles, and a quick strike here for Wilson. Wilson's free. Wilson headed for the end zone. He dives, and he is in for the touchdown. Touchdown, Florida State. He beat Chestnut outside. That goes for 24.
And Dave, if you want to pack the box because you're trying to stop the run game, you're going to leave these one-on-one opportunities. And so here's the one-on-one. Look at everybody in there packed in to stop the run. Look, the ball's on the left hash. There's a lot of room. There's no one between the hash mark and the sideline on the bottom of your screen. And when you've got these big physical receivers, we saw it earlier with McLean, Johnny Wilson at 6'7", being able to push the defender off of him.
And the point after is good to make it 21-3.
Yeah, and on another run play, it is a receiving touchdown because it's good timing by Jordan Travis, and then just too physical on the perimeter as Florida State is able to extend their lead.
You'd do anything.
They are the big play Seminoles. 71 plays of 20 or more. That's most in FBS, and 2 more, Tim, tonight.
And they create space for their wide receivers because they're so good at running the football with their backs and their quarterback, and their wide receivers have been up to the task in terms of making guys miss and breaking tackles.
That one is going to bounce out, flag down, so it'll come out to the 35. Pitt and Virginia. How about this start today? Pitt led 14-0 after 16 seconds.
Listen, yeah, 2 plays. It was 14-0. Then taking an offensive snap, and then, you know, for a while Louisville was hanging in there. Malik Cunningham not able to finish, and they take care of business. And this is the biggest surprise. You know, Emmett Moorhead at quarterback for Boston College. Phil Jurkovec still out, and on the road, snapping the 16-game home win streak that NC State has had at Carter Finley. Surprise win for BC.
Schrader thrown over the middle and incomplete. Huge game backs. Nice to see May finally getting some attention for the Heisman, huh?
Oh, he deserves it. He's been outstanding.
Tucker flagged down. He busts a long one here. Still can't bring him down. Very tough to tackle him. He made a miss. Green with the last effort for the tackle, but it's a 20-yard gain.
Offense number 60. 10-yard penalty. First down.
And not a lot going right now for the Orange.
Here's Berger on the left tackle, and he just kind of similar thing, you know, hand outside, and that grab and tug right there on Verse. And, you know, Verse was described to us by Adam Fuller, the defensive coordinator of Florida State, as he will be unblockable when he starts playing with technique, because right now he's playing with just great motor and great ability, but he's been a really, really nice find for the Seminoles.
Schrader fires, and another one incomplete. Not really close. Let's go down for more on Verse to Kelsey.
Well, speaking of Jared Verse being a nice find, where they found him was actually when he was playing for Albany against Syracuse, and Florida State was prepping to play Syracuse. Mike Norvell's like, who is this defensive end that we just see running all over the field? He said he was actually running Sean Tucker down. So when he went in the portal, they got a notification that, hey, there's a defensive end from Albany in the portal. He immediately said, hey, is this the guy? It was. They get on the phone with Jared Verse, and Jared tells me he was sitting on an athletic training table when he got the call and said, hey, hold on one second, coach. Told the trainers, it's Florida State. Now he's here, and they're happy to have him.
Schrader spinning free, making a miss again. And another flag is going to be dropped in the backfield. Approaching 5 minutes to go. And another penalty against the Orange.
Holding, number 81 on the offense. Penalty is declined. Fourth down.
Most observers of this game, Tim, were talking about the defensive line for Florida State as the part of this game that would make the biggest difference.
Yeah, and it's because they're really talented, but I think that they've improved. You know, a term that Mike Norvell used that I think is key for this program was continued growth. And I think he was talking about his entire team, but you've really seen it on the defensive side. And they have very talented players at defensive tackle and at edge player. You know, we're talking about Jared Verse. We've seen what he can do. Patrick Payton has a sack already, and many people believe that Robert Cooper and Fabian Lovett, who play inside, are two of their better players on their entire team.
Pittman with a fair catch. So FSU about to get it back, and a lot of missed tackles in this game on the Syracuse side.
Yeah, and uncharacteristic of a Syracuse team that plays with such great, you know, effort to the football, but it's really happened on the perimeter with these big physical Florida State wide receivers doing it against these secondary players for Syracuse. You know, it's Deuce Chestnut, who's been a real, a nice player for Syracuse, and it's obviously Jeremiah Wilson, who, you know, is a true freshman, and I would expect them to continue to rotate guys through who can get players to the ground.
Jordan Travis looking to get it in the air and throws it short for Benson. And a 4-yard pickup here for the Seminoles. 4.5 minutes to go before halftime.
You know, part of the other challenge is for Syracuse defensively, they've been so bad on offense. They have 61 total yards at this point, and you know, the defense has been out on the field quite a bit against a really talented offense.
Well, they're buoyed by the fact that on a carry here by Benson, that Schrader was returning to the lineup, able to start in the ball game, but of course he was brilliant last year against Florida State, over 130 yards, 3 touchdowns, but on healthy legs.
On healthy legs, and Dave, we've seen Schrader this year kind of go off and play well and carry this football team in this offense. They just have not been able to get going.
And for Benson. Now he's going to keep it onto the outside. Outside goes Travis. Travis on the keeper will gain 21 yards as he bounced outside.
Yeah, it's a zone read. He's gonna come here. He's gonna end up keeping this football because of the edge players. And so when the edge players collapse down, which Wax does there, they just get out of sorts. And Justin Barron, probably undisciplined with his eyes. Look at Justin Barron back here, undisciplined with his eyes as he sees Benson. He thinks he's got the ball. He takes off inside. He's really the player that's probably there to account for Jordan Travis in the run game.
Kayvon Darton, number 45, up on the front line for Syracuse. He will walk off here after the injury. 5'11", 266.
He's an interesting player, Darton, because 5'11", you know, we see monsters now on this offensive line, guys that are, you know, 6'5", 330, and Darton at 5'11", it's kind of a bit of a runt in there and creates a lot of havoc.
First and 10 for the Noles. Moving the football again behind Jordan Travis. Another short one out to Wilson. Takes a crunching hit there. Taria Wilson with the reception. Wilson knocks him down. And a gain of just 2 yards. 2nd down and 8 coming up. FSU has had a lot of great field position. They have made Syracuse miss a lot tonight and have piled up a 21-3 advantage.
You think about starting field position, the 41-yard line. I mean, that's, you know, the average starting field position, kind of unbelievable.
On target to McLean. McLean to the sideline, and he'll pick up a first down. Chased out by Wax, but a first.
And this play was made by Micah Pittman, and Mike Norvell has been raving about, you know, how his receivers will block. Well, look at Pittman. I mean, that is big time. You know, take your man out of bounds, and Pittman showing he can do more than just catch the football.
Pittman, the Oregon transfer. Part of a very good wide receiver room here for the Seminoles. First down 10. Pittman in motion. And trying to center line. Comes free, and it came right back to Jordan Travis. That one popped free. Ward had it come away.
I mean, what a fortunate bounce for Florida State. That ball kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, just kind of squirts out, and because Jordan Travis was carrying out his fake, ball ends up right at his feet.
Going to lose only 1 yard on this. You've got to be a really good athlete to be prepared to scoop that up. And upset in the end with Jones. They're shoving him off, but brings up 2nd down 11. Right through the middle. There goes Benson. And Benson again breaking some tackles to pick up a first down. He'll gain 12 yards on that romp.
Yeah, the movement inside. I mean, just look at the running lanes that are created by the big guys inside. And, you know, Darton, who we talked about a second ago, is 266 at 5'11". Steve Linton's listed at 219 pounds. The ability for the guys up front to get movement has been a lot for Syracuse defensively.
Benson negotiating his way to the center of the line again. 5 more for him. Under a minute to go before halftime at Syracuse, as the Noles try to punch it in again. So Philly takes over as the back now for Florida State. Double wides to the left with Ward on the move. Back in the backfield. On the fake. And a short one here, and that one to the tight end, Douglas. Douglas busting ahead. And a first down for FSU. Sparrow with the stop finally. Another 10 yards.
And it's a nice job. You look at Darius Washington in space. It's another tight end screen. And I'm surprised that Mike Norvell didn't quickly use a timeout. Here, you're using one there. Look, they have all three. You don't want to leave too much time on the clock, but
timeout.
been some
State.
substitution issues
First
that they've been
timeout.
dealing with.
Timeout will be 30 seconds.
You know, the likelihood that you're going to use them both in the next, or all three, excuse me, in 22 seconds, you know, maybe isn't even realistic. And so I think take a timeout, talk to your quarterback. Look, you're in field goal range now. Taking enough time off the clock that, you know, there's a very good chance here that, you know, you can end the half with the football. And so,
you know, you can point to a lot of things. The success of FSU now here in recent days under Norvell, but that offensive line, what a turnaround for this group.
listen, we had them under the previous regime, and the offensive line really struggled. The improvement that we've seen out of this group has been remarkable. And I think that, you know, as we talk about, you know, winning in the trenches, they've done that a lot this season with this offensive line.
Ball on the 11-yard line. And a timeout.
Timeout. Syracuse, second charge timeout. Timeout will be 30 seconds.
Number 2 for Coach Babers. Florida State, by the way, will get the ball to start the second half. And coming up on the ACC Network halftime report, our guys are ready. Jordan, Eric, EJ will get you up to date on all of today's college football action in the ACC. And man, do they have a lot to talk about. Some fascinating finishes in the conference.
Yeah, a lot of fun stuff in the conference. They also have easily the best seat in the house. I'm pretty sure that's the only way Jordan travels is when he
First
gets
class.
the special treatment like that.
He is Mr. Big Chair.
I think EJ only, that's the treatment he gets anytime he's at a game where Florida State's playing, home or away.
First and 10, 10th play of the drive that started on the Florida State 18-yard line. Travis trying to find the end zone again. Has time in the pocket. Rifles that one. Nice catch by Pittman on a short one. And another timeout coming.
It's a nice catch by Pittman. I was surprised Travis went there with the football.
Florida State, second charge timeout. Please reset the game clock to 13 seconds. The timeout will be 30 seconds.
So they'll add a second. Second down, 6 coming.
It's coming shallow cross from his left, and ball's really out of the framework of his body. Guys running over the middle, and Pittman kind of extending himself there. He's a really...
And still the case.
Yes.
Everybody shows up. Lawrence Toafili will be in the backfield here. He's rushed for 5 touchdowns this season. Second down, 6, 13 seconds to play in the first half. Here they come. Travis able to wriggle free couple, and down he goes. So great cover there by Syracuse with that clock running down to 5 and a timeout.
Yeah, and that's a bad play by Jordan Travis there. With the time that was on the clock here versus 0 blitz, go ahead and take the shot into the end zone.
Third, final charge.
Look, it's 0 blitz, okay? So you got one-on-one with inside leverage. So get the ball out now. You get the ball out now, you don't have to use that timeout. It's third down, you still have your timeout. So now you can run another play. God forbid something happens, you get a sack. Now go ahead and call your timeout, kick your field goal. And so I just think that, you know, the management there and understanding how he played that second down, you know, ultimately cost them another chance to take a shot at the end zone.
30-yard field goal attempt coming for Fitzgerald. Travis hasn't made many errors in judgment here in the first half. That was one. But Fitzgerald from 30 has a long of 47 this season, and flags down. So we'll see what this is about.
Start. Offense number 56. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
So we'll back this up for Ryan Fitzgerald, a sophomore out of the state of Georgia. Zane Herring drawing a penalty. So this will be 35 now for Fitzgerald, who broke the Syracuse Hearts last year with a 3-pointer at the buzzer in Tallahassee. And again, flags down. More flags. Just trying to get a field goal in the air, but unable to do it in these last 5 seconds. And FSU's backing up again.
And, you know, Syracuse is doing this little stem. And I think the officials are going to talk about whether or not they're, you know, simulating the snap.
It was Herring again who drew the flag.
Ball start. Offense number 56. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
And so you look at this stem, and that, you know, gets Herring to flinch second time in a row. And, you know, you're allowed to stem defensively. What you can't do is, you know, call out a cadence or do something to try to get the offense to jump. But stem's perfectly legal, and it got him.
And now the crowd here inside the dome trying to get in Fitzgerald's head. A 40-yard attempt. And was there a timeout before that?
Timeout. Syracuse. Third. Final charge timeout. Timeout will be 30 seconds.
Tino trying to ice him a little bit with 5 seconds to go.
It's one of the more adventurous field goal attempts I can remember.
I would say so.
A first half field goal.
It's certainly one of the longest in terms of time that we've seen in a while. 21-3. Any way you cut it, though, Florida State's going to feel awfully good about much of what they did here in the first half, Tim.
I would agree with that, Dave, because they've been able to run the football. They've been, you know, as you look at Jordan Travis, the ball's hit the ground one time. You think about some of these throws just at the line of scrimmage where the receivers then break a tackle, take it for a score. And so he's done a nice job of that. And then the offensive line has done an excellent job for those running backs.
So they'll try it again. Fitzgerald gets that one away, and it is good. And that's how the first half comes to an end, with Florida State on top 24-3 here inside the dome at Syracuse. Very tough early on for Garrett Schrader, the quarterback for the Orange. Got it going eventually.
I think the entire first half was a Bojangles Big Bo moment.
Indeed. So FSU looking to pick up where they left off in the first half inside the dome. They quieted the building on several occasions quite a bit. And Syracuse with a short kick, an onside kick. That's going to be recovered by FSU. And once again, field position, which they feasted on in the first half. Moments ago, Kelsey with Dino Babers.
Coach Babers, what do you need to do in the second half to get this team going offensively?
We got to come back out here and we've got to fight. I mean, I think your guys have not. They're fighting out there, but their energy's misplaced. We've got to work together. We got to work as a unit, and we got to do the things that they were coached to do.
The focus this week has been winning, especially for your seniors. What did you say at the half to the guys about this?
We're a family. We're La Familia. We're Ohio. Family takes care of family.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, once again, FSU in great position right out of the gate. Travis looking, and that one may have been deflected. Third drive to start in Syracuse territory tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the field position, I mean, look, misplaced energy or effort and family and all that stuff is interesting, but, you know, you see Travis gets hit by his own lineman, Gibbons, as he's trying to push the ball down the field, but I mean, this Florida State offense is good, and seems like every drive has been at midfield or somewhere around there.
2nd and 10. Benson shredding that line to the left side and nudged out of bounds before he picks up a first down. Stopped by Justin Barron, but a gain of 24.
Florida State talked about sustaining blocks. Well, how's this for sustaining blocks? All the way through on the inside is Benson's able to kind of sift his way through there, and then a good job of Pokey Wilson on the edge, continuing to block his man.
Trey Benson onto his way to another big rushing game. He's had back-to-back career games. Another carry for him. Looking to get an edge here and cut back inside before he's taken down at the 15. And he'll pick up 5.
You know, Florida State, their ability to run the football, really, you know, the last couple of weeks has been, you know, 3 weeks, including this one, has been a dominant performance by their offensive line.
FSU opening up the second half with the football, and once again trying to find the end zone, and on the verge of really putting it out of reach quickly in the opening minutes of the second half. Travis, another handoff here to Philly with the carry. As he went to the center of the line. And enough for a first down.
I wouldn't be surprised. I know Florida State's done an excellent job running the football, but a few times this year when they've gotten down into the red zone and they get one-on-one opportunities, they like the jump ball to Johnny Wilson, who's going to be off to Jordan Travis's right, the bottom of the screen, and get one-on-one there. I could see the ball getting thrown up to him.
FSU milking the clock here. Now down to 2. So Philly bouncing. Stays up, but now he's down inside the 5. And Jason Simmons saving a touchdown perhaps there. 4-yard pickup.
Yeah, it's a pretty good tackle by Simmons, playing downhill, kind of running the alley. And Tony White's group has really been up against it in terms of defending short fields throughout this game.
2nd and goal. Once again, a short carry to the center of the line by Philly. Darton with the stop and got nothing out of that. So 3rd and goal approaching now for the Seminoles. Syracuse trying to get their crowd to be a factor here and stop the drive. Trey Benson back in as the back. Third and goal for the Noles. 2 wideouts split to the left. Benson again in the backfield. Travis looking left, fires, touchdown Florida State on the strike. Portier with the catch. Kentron Portier with the grab from 4 yards out, and another FSU touchdown.
Yeah, and just too easy. They run a corner by the inside receiver and then just a little underneath route by Portier, and there's no one there. And Jordan Travis sees it, delivers an accurate throw, and you think sometimes you're down at halftime, how you respond, in that opening drive of the second half is critical, but the failed surprise onside and that, and rough start. And so now Florida State, who was rolling in the first half, off to a hot start in the second half and really having their way in the Dome.
For everyone from players to parents, football offers up.
Carter, sophomore out of Richmond, Virginia, helped off the field. FSU punching in another touchdown after the failed onside kick by Syracuse.
Yeah, and I just think this Syracuse defense has had to defend short fields for much of the night, and that's hard against anybody, much less a good offense. And Florida State defensively has been really good, but that drive there, they're just running the football on them all night. And think about that last drive, Dave. Essentially, runs, and you get a 3rd down in the red zone and able to throw the touchdown.
7th opponent held to 3 points or fewer in the first half by the Noles' strangling defense. As mentioned, number 1 in the ACC in pass defense. They only allow 165 yards per game in the air. They are suffocating again tonight. It's a 5-yard gain by Tucker, stopped by Jamie Robinson. Syracuse with a lot of struggles, son. No touchdowns in the last 6 quarters. At this point, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. And tonight, Schrader getting back in there. Not 100%, not even close, but they were hoping for a lot more than this. Here's Tucker, a little stiff arm. Outside he goes. Tucker with the carry, but a flag is dropped. Chased out by Deloach.
Illegal formation, offense. More than 4 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. second down.
You just can't have it. I mean, you know, I think you have all these guys and another receiver out to the top, you know, who's off the line of scrimmage. And when you do that, it's a legal formation and really running right to an unblocked defender. But it's John Tucker able to make a miss.
So 2nd and 10 for Garrett Schrader, the Mississippi State transfer, back to throw. Time in the pocket. They'll dump it out short for Tucker, but unable to get that. Incomplete.
It just looked out of sorts, Dave. I mean, I think offensively, really no other way to put it. I mean, it's an offense that, you know, the first 6 games of the season was really impressive. They were efficient. The quarterback was playing well, and they just tonight, like between penalties, drops, just kind of been a mess.
And just 1 out of 8 on 3rd down, 3rd and 10 here. With Cooper on the move. Going to throw long and air this one out to the left side, but overthrown as he wanted to get Alford, but well overthrown over the head of the sophomore.
And even a play like that, you know, it's like, oh, he almost hit him. It's like, no, he didn't. He threw it 4 yards out of bounds. You know, like at this point of the game, I mean, here's the deal. Like, you got to let your guy, you know, put his hands on the football. I mean, doing that on 3rd and 10, down 31-3, like, it's just a long foul ball. And so I think it's a little surprising to me, having seen them at times this year, you know, look so good offensively.
In serious danger of dropping their 4th consecutive game. I mean, there's plenty of time in this one, but down 31-3, they give up the football again, and not a good punt. And that's going to die and roll a little bit to the 30-yard line. They got a decent roll on it, and we'll stop at the 29. 46-yard punt, and Carter. Well, this is a bad sign as Carter has to leave on crutches for Syracuse. Actually breathed a sigh of relief there that part of it was over. Big, strong, tough guy, and a very, very honorable tradition here at Syracuse, very long one, of ROTC and involvement in the military.
Yeah, and that is awesome to see from both of those guys, and obviously the commitment, not a typical, and here's the sigh of relief after having a talk, but and honestly, Syracuse in general here, the way they've honored our military has been impressive and a tradition. It's pretty special at this place.
McLean wrapped up by Chestnut after the reception. FSU looking to move it again. We had a lot of fun this week talking with Alex Atkins, Florida State offensive coordinator, about what a balanced attack they have achieved. And they were flat rolling coming into this game. In fact, Coach Norvell's got every facet of the game in cruise control right now. 3rd down and 4. Three wides to the left here. Travis going over the middle. Flag down as he intended to hit Toafili, but a flag dropped. 8:52 to go in the 3rd.
Offside. Defense, number 54. 5-yard penalty. Penalty results in a 1st down.
1st down for the Noles. So another mistake here for Syracuse, and those are piling up.
Jedius Greer, who just in the neutral zone and really was an opportunity to get off the field. Bit of a miscommunication between Toafili and Travis, but extends the drive.
How about the balance, too, we mentioned for the Noles? 23 rushing plays, 22 passing plays. That's about perfect. Quarterback, plenty of time to get it off, and fires complete. Will pick up another 1st down as he rifled that one to Douglas. Guy Douglas for 17.
You know, we've talked a lot about the offensive line in terms of the run blocking. How about the pass blocking here? Look at the pocket for Jordan Travis as he just kind of gets through his progression, and not a super tall guy, and so the space created in front of him by the offensive line, obviously a huge advantage for a quarterback of his size.
So Florida State moving the chains again. Benson straight ahead, and he'll be bottled up. Trey Benson with a carry. Michael Jones, who had a big game last year, Tallahassee, for Syracuse with that tackle, a 4-yard pickup.
Michael Jones, a really good player at linebacker, number 3. He's kind of all over the place. I mentioned it earlier. He's not playing behind an experienced or big group in front of him, and so a lot of times, guys are trying to get up to the second level on him. He's got great instincts and just finds a way to end up around the ball quite often.
2nd down and 6 at the 39 of the Orange. Benson again. Benson breaks free. Benson cutting to his left. Benson still up. He's dragged down at last by Jason Simmons. But he rumbles for 29 and a 1st down.
This is what I mean about the movement. Like, we've seen the movement of the guys up front, and they just can't hold up. And you think about a team like Notre Dame that's had a long reputation of big offensive linemen and extra tight ends and being able to lean on you. A lot of 3 wide receiver personnel groupings for Florida State, but they're leaning on you with just their offensive line.
Benson again, trying to get down close to the goal line before he is set down after a 7-yard gain. Elijah Clark took him down and prevented another touchdown, at least for the moment.
And Marquesas Douglas, tight end, does a nice job there. Someone tries to kind of, slice inside him, gets enough of him to allow Benson to run with some patience and have a nice little pickup.
2nd and goal. Travis handing off again. Benson getting inside for the touchdown. Another score here for the Seminoles. 6 more for FSU. Benson, a 2-yard touchdown run. Take another look to see if in fact he was in. Looked like he did.
Well, his ball's in his left hand. I wouldn't be surprised if the officials stopped this to look at it. Because the ball's in his left hand, his backside hits the ground, and at that point, difficult to see where the football is.
We'll freeze it.
So we see his right elbow, but the ball is in his left hand. The ball's right here, and so that enough, we're obviously not right down the line.
On the field was a touchdown. That play is under further review.
All right, so they are going to take a look, as they will on all scoring plays, but this play under review. Thomas Considine, the replay official.
I think there's a chance that they're going to say that this football has not crossed the plane, when he hits the ground.
I would agree.
Now,
there's that chance.
Now, it's got to be, enough evidence to overturn it.
Seat of his pants. As you said, the ball in his left arm, cradled in the left arm.
As part of it for me, because it's ruled a touchdown, I think this is a stands as called type play.
Trey Benson, another big game. That's 3 in a row for him. He had back-to-back career high rushing games, 128 yards, 2 touchdowns against Miami last week. He's had another outstanding night.
I'm just really impressed in general with just the yards after contact that all of these Florida State running backs are getting. And I think a lot of that has to do with it. They're hitting it running. They got some momentum because of the way the guys up front are, blocking for them. And so.
Now it looks like this is going to be short and bring up 3rd and goal. So FSU will be forced to try again.
After further review, the runner was short of the goal line. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 1/2-yard line.
So Benson and company coming back on 3rd and goal here for the Noles.
And you got to give it to Benson, right? I mean, you can't vulture the touchdown with Travis.
You would think. So number 3 in the backfield with Travis. Benson takes a hit. Down he goes. Well shy this time. Kayvon Dart was there to say hello, along with Jones.
Dart, you see his quickness. He's right inside here, and he's right here to the right of him. Just plays with such good leverage. You know, at times maybe being 5'11" is an advantage. He's still playing hard, and a lot of times low man wins, and Darden does a good job there.
So brings up 4th and goal. So Philly now the running back, and a timeout.
Timeout, Florida State. First charge, timeout.
Now we'll go for it. But a commanding 31-3 advantage. Looking to really put the pedal to the metal here. Behind Travis under center. And a handoff and some trickery and a short toss to the quarterback and 6 more. And a touchdown thrown to Jordan Travis and a touchdown reception.
A little Philly special, little Seminole special, if you will, to Jordan Travis. And, you know, a shift before the play puts Johnny Wilson here, and then Rector, who ends up being the ball carrier, and then Jordan Travis just going to end up leaking out. And so the pitch to Pittman, who flips it back to Rector, and then wide open is Jordan Travis. And I think Mike Norvell has done an excellent job just even calling this game.
Beautifully designed there for 7 more. 38-3 Florida State in a runaway, and set up by this long run by Benson.
And good blocking and sticking on the blocks by that Florida State offensive line. And then their version of the Philly special, handoff to Pittman, pitch to Rector, and nobody home on Jordan Travis. Bit of a shot too on Rector. Hey, you want to play quarterback? It looks like it doesn't hurt as much when you complete it, especially in the end zone.
Wyatt Rector, the junior, out of Leesburg, Florida, with a great moment there. And Travis with a great one, too. We'll set a number of them tonight. And a touchdown reception. And the Seminoles are looking awfully good here with 5:21 to go in the third. 3-yard pass.
Jordan Travis, you know what I mean? Like the trifecta. Everyone made a big deal about it when Christian McCaffrey did it with the 49ers a couple weeks ago, and I think it had been like Walter Payton or Damian Tomlinson, someone like that, who'd been the last one to do it. It seems like it's almost nothing for a guy like Jordan Travis.
So the Syracuse drive will begin at the 25-yard line. Now, how about the other game?
Seen some guys that are in the Heisman conversation have some games that weren't crazy. Sounds like he's rushed for over 60 yards as well.
I'm happy to say that we bought tickets on that train pretty early. And I know you were an outspoken advocate as Tucker is on the loose and taken down after a short gain of 3. I mean, you were very early looking for him to get credit as a Heisman candidate.
Coming into the season, they weren't sure if, you know, what that offense would look like without Sam Howell. I think you could easily make the argument that Drake May's been the best quarterback in all of college football this season.
Proving it again tonight. North Carolina with such a high-octane offense, and that one is thrown away by Schrader. The intended receiver was Adams. And incomplete. So 3rd and 6 coming up for Syracuse, and Schrader's just had a devil of a time all night long.
I mean, it's been a struggle. I mean, you see the 3rd down numbers, and he just been off. I mean, not putting the ball, I mean, he hasn't been accurate. I think that was one of the things that was so, I think, exciting for Syracuse offensively at the start of the season was he was accurate with the football.
short over the middle and caught by Cooper. It's really a fascinating story. Devon Cooper, he's been playing for a long time. He's the first known FBS player to catch a pass in 7 straight seasons. 7 straight. Came to Arizona out of Los Angeles in 2016. Then he redshirted on to Syracuse. So his 3rd school and 7 years of college football, and not done yet.
And you think about that just for some perspective. That's the same high school recruiting class as somebody like Chase Claypool, somebody like A.J. Brown. I mean, A.J. Brown is on his 2nd contract in the NFL. And, it's just remarkable to think, how long he's been in college.
For more on this, let's go down to Kelsey.
Yeah, I got to talk to him a little bit about that. And first of all, I said, are you going to find a way to get an 8th year? And he said, no, I think this is it. He did walk on senior night tonight. But he talked a lot about the growth that he's seen. He said the thing that stands out to him the most is the way he's matured season to season, team to team, really been able to come into different locker rooms and just be a leader. Dino Babers said he's a guy who gets invited to every party. Those guys are invaluable to the football team because you come in and you want guys to play for a player like that, and they definitely gravitate towards Devon Cooper.
Well, it's a long time in college, that's for sure. Here's Benson again off to the races, trying to get his way to the outside before he is taken down. Tate Rodemaker is the new quarterback as he takes over for Jordan Travis with the score out of hand here, 38-3.
Good valuable snaps here for Rodemaker, who came in earlier this season in a game against Louisville and played really well. Did a nice job connecting on a few plays to Johnny Wilson. And
Benson again, continuing a really big night here in Syracuse, New York. FSU, by the way, with a 5th consecutive game of 200 rushing yards.
I mean, I was saying it earlier, the work on the offensive line, and you see Dylan Gibbons there. He's kind of been the vocal leader of that group, a transfer from Notre Dame who's been tough and smart. And I think the culture, playing next to Rob Scott at left tackle, I think the culture of the offensive line has changed and really made a difference.
Maker got the pass away and complete for a 1st down. The receiver Douglas ripped down, but not until they moved the sticks again.
And that's a nice play by Rodemaker because it's all out pressure in his face. He's got to get the ball out before it gets to him, and ball not totally accurate, but Douglas, good adjustment on the ball to bring it in and pick up the 1st down.
Well, Jordan Travis was just about perfect tonight. Outstanding. Rodemaker, the sophomore from the great football town of Valdosta, Georgia, now in running the show. 1st and 10. Looking to go airborne again. Can't escape, though, and down he goes. He is dragged down by Marlowe Wax, the linebacker, an 8-yard loss.
And I think Rodemaker was looking for the big one, and he wasn't defining itself early, and he thought maybe if I hold on to it a few more hitches here and I'll be able to put it up down the field. And he was looking for Deuce Spann, and in doing that kind of walked himself into a sack.
Rodemaker does have a couple of touchdown passes. He's also been picked off a couple of times this season. So 2nd and way long. Benson again. Getting up around 160 yards on the ground tonight individually. He has long since shattered his own personal record in this game. He has been a workhorse. Inside a minute to go in the 3rd, all FSU. He's now at 163 yards and counting. Boy, averaging 9 yards a carry. Impressive. 3rd and 13 for the Seminoles. Alex Atkins, the offensive coordinator, was telling us they wanted to control the environment and really shut down the noise. They've done that tonight, FSU. Rodemaker will flip that one out of bounds. And good pressure there by Michael Jones with 17 seconds to go in the third. And Ryan Fitzgerald coming on 4th and 13. So looking for the field goal to add on to an already big lead over Syracuse.
You know, we knew coming in kind of the trajectory of both of these teams. But, you know, I think we thought Garrett Schrader would kind of be a bit of an equalizer.
It's a 51-yard attempt. It is on the way, and it is no good. Left it short. And Fitzgerald slow to rise here. His holder as well. Take a look.
I think that, listen, kickers, NBA players, we did see Melo in the building tonight, and I think there's
Flop City.
a little flopping going on.
Not that Melo ever did. Got a giant round of applause here. Big ovation, of course, led Syracuse to a national championship under Jim Boeheim. Jim Boeheim court right underneath this turf. Flag down on the carry by Tucker. In the last seconds of the third. And a flag down. 38-3 FSU. They have had a blast tonight here at Syracuse.
Offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Dino Babers has not had a blast tonight.
I mean, it's the penalties.
That'll be the end of the third quarter. And Syracuse forward, 2003 NCAA champion. Great hand here tonight as he was introduced inside the dome. That's been their highlight this evening. Airing it out there on that left side to Pena, and complete. And Syracuse only 3 first downs, 9 possessions, so Melo can't help.
Pretty cool moment.
Schrader back to throw. Yeah, nice catch here by Alford on the near sideline to pick up a first down. They just haven't had many of those tonight. Greedy Vance with the stop.
Really haven't had much of the, many of those plays, and there was a lot of that. And you go back to the Purdue game and the Louisville game, and just was a lot of it out of Garrett Schrader and his receivers.
Schrader, they try to chase him down. He'll flip that one incomplete to the near side, intended for Tucker. Pressure on him by Shaheem Brown. Guy who blocked the PAT to give FSU that victory over LSU. That was in early September, 24-23. It was a thriller. Came with no time on the clock, and we were talking with Mike Norvell about that this week, you and I and Kelsey, and he talked about what a valuable win that was on so many fronts for his program.
No doubt about it. I think this team's just continued to improve. And he said something that really stuck out to me in the meeting, because we talk about when you lose games, and so you lose a couple games, it's disappointing.
Flag down here.
Prior to snap, illegal substitution on the offense. There's 12 players in formation. 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
I mean, the penalties out of Dino Babers' group tonight have been rough. But Mike Norvell said, he's like, our circumstances.
Please reset the game clock to 14 minutes and 9 seconds, please.
Circumstances don't dictate our work. And I thought it was interesting, because it was like, well, what pulled you out of the late interception of Jordan Travis, the loss to Clemson? Like, what pulled you out of that? And he just said, look, our guys continued to work, and we weren't going to let the fact that we were disappointed, some of those things, change our approach.
Schrader airborne, and that one is going to be picked along the sideline, and it's going to be Greedy Vance with the interception. Florida State impressive, to say the least, here in the fourth quarter. Beating up on Syracuse 38-3. Now the football again with a backup quarterback in for another drive. Say Rodemaker. Put Spann on the move as he will dart off to that right side and pick up 3 hard-earned yards. Jason Simmons with a tackle. So FSU on their way to 7-3 and 5-3 in the ACC under Mike Norvell. Syracuse about to lose their 4th consecutive game after such a great start. 6-0. They will drop to 3-3 inside the conference, and again a 4-game skid.
Next week, not getting any easier.
Wake Forest on the road, and then Boston College on the road. BC shocked NC State today. Flag down on this play. On the carry by Ward. .13:05 to go.
Defense number 45. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Darn, he doesn't like the call. He's like, nah, man, I just got a good jump and so many penalties. I think Dino and his staff have basically said, you get penalty, I'm going to pull you off now. Okay, that's been probably the more surprising thing tonight is just sheer number of penalties on this Syracuse team.
9 of them for 62 yards, right? A handoff for Ward. And Ward will gain the 1st down here for FSU. With the clock running down to 12:42.
You know, for Syracuse, you need to find a way to stop the bleeding. You think about the excitement. Look, there was talk 6-0, like, hey, is game day going to Syracuse? Like, I mean, those are the rumors going around. I mean, there was just so much excitement about how they were playing, and shoot, even for much of the game against Clemson. And you know, now on senior night to get run off the field the way they've been run off the field is surprising.
McLean tied up. There's Chestnut. Will pick up the tackle. You're absolutely right. I mean, those first 6, that was magic time for the Orange. Last 3 games, the offense is scuffled to be kind.
Yeah, and part of what happened is in that run, the noise in this building, you said it earlier, NC State basically said to us, look, if we could handle that noise better, we think we have a much better shot of winning that football game. And just the momentum, the energy surrounding the program is just, it feels like the air has been let out of the balloon.
Ward with another good run for 5. Keeps on moving the football. Elijah Clark with the tackle. Yeah, it's certainly been, as much as any team in the country, a tale of 2 seasons for the Syracuse Orange.
Yeah, look, and I would say this, I think defensively, as they've dealt with injuries on the defensive side of the ball, they've managed that really well. I think Tony White's group has played extremely hard. They've been undersized, but they've found ways to be productive. You know, injuries at linebacker, at corner, at defensive line. But the offensive struggles are really the thing that's held them back.
Rodemaker on 3rd and 7. Wants to go airborne. Pressure on him. And we'll fire that one. And a completed pass, but short. Just 4 yards. And it's another going to say incomplete.
Incomplete pass. 4th down.
So bring up 4th down. Incomplete.
I think had they secured the catch here, kind of in no man's land. You see Toafili originally looks like he has it, but I think as McDonald is there and kind of rakes the football out. And now forces a punt.
We talked a lot about
for Syracuse is wearing jersey number 92.
Talked a lot about Garrett Schrader and being out and how much that would affect the offense, but he started tonight as a guy who missed 6 quarters of football. It's not like he missed 6 games. Nearly a blocked punt there. And a fair catch by Pena. They got him back tonight, but to no avail. 10:22 to go. 38-3 FSU.
Take your favorite radio station.
FSU fans long since heading for the exits with a blowout ensuing tonight. Garrett Schrader just unable to find second gear this evening. Wants to throw, and that football comes free, and they're going to pile on. It was fumbled and recovered by Syracuse, but Schrader takes a hit, and the forced fumble by Amari Gaynor.
Yeah, and Amari Gaynor is going to come to the top of the screen, and his speed just wins. Dakota Davis can't get a piece of him, and Gaynor with a chop of his own on Garrett Schrader's arm to get that ball out.
Sure did. So second down 16 with Pena in motion. And on the carry. Trying to barrel ahead. Nowhere near a first down though for Tucker. Florida State first time ranked in the college football playoff top 25 since 2016. They were 11th in the final poll that year.
Well, and then just think, you mentioned it earlier, the last time they had a winning season was what, 2017?
Yes.
And, you know, that Jimbo Fisher era, it was a quick fall from grace at that point. And that's why I think we've really tried to talk about the job that Mike Norvell's done with this football team.
Schrader going long and off the fingertips of Tucker. Look at their big hit. But could not connect, and incomplete. Gaynor was trying to keep pace with him. So 4th and 8 coming.
Tucker, the second leading receiver for Syracuse, really had a shot for a big one. And Garrett Schrader was described as country tough, and his right hand looks like he just went 12 rounds.
So the hand in rough shape, the legs in rough shape, and Syracuse in rough shape tonight. And have to punt it away again. Have been doing that all night long. Pittman back. And Pittman's going to try and run it out of there. Got free of one man, slipped one tackle. Down he goes with a little under 8 minutes to play. Florida State, as we say, last winning record 2017. That feels for FSU fans like eons ago, but here they are now under Coach Norvell. Feels like turning that corner.
You know, because I think they've done an excellent job identifying talent, and you see their upcoming schedule, and look, this is maybe a 9-win team. I mean, you think tonight's a win gets them to 7. You would think that, as you see, the chance to win against Louisiana is pretty good. And I know the rivalry games mean a lot, as they, talked to us about that playing Miami last week, and it's going to feel the same way playing Florida. This is a good football team and a team that's improving as the season goes along.
Campbell, the running back, straight ahead, breaks free, and he will pick up a first with a 12-yard gain. So about 7.5 remaining here. Florida State with just such good balance, right? They're one of 4 teams nationally who rank in the top 20 in total offense and total defense. The others are Georgia, Ohio State, and Alabama. Look at this, 6.3 yards per carry tonight. They have been churning on the ground.
Dave, I mean, I know I went to BC and you went here, which means your math is better than mine, of course, right? But 6.3 yards per carry, run it twice and you get a first down, and it's what they started off doing. Run like this to Trey Benson, and just continued throughout the night. Guys up front doing a really, really nice job, and the backs running hard, and then when they packed everyone in there, Trey Benson averaging over 9 yards per carry. Say that's pretty good.
What a story he's becoming, too. I mean, that's 3 consecutive weeks with a new career high. This one blowing the others out of the water at 163 yards. Big time performance tonight by Benson and Travis and the defense, holding Syracuse this point without a touchdown.
You know, Mike Norvell also said to us, it's not just what you do, and this was coming off of the big win against Miami, but it's how you do it. And when you look at this score, look at the score last week, and then you look at the domination at the line of scrimmage, that's how you do it. And I think it's changing the culture at Florida State.
They can go back-to-back weeks. Still plenty of time here for Syracuse to get on the board with a touchdown, but they've got to get the football back. It would be back-to-back weeks holding an opponent without a touchdown. Rodemaker on the move, throwing downfield, and that one incomplete. Actually caught that. He made a tremendous play there. Portier, let's see.
He does a good job of kind of stopping himself at the sideline. Good strong hands. That is a phenomenal catch.
Wow. And held on for a 25-yard gain.
Pretty good throw by Rodemaker as well on the sideline.
So everything clicking here for FSU. There is a flag.
Illegal substitution offense, 12 men in formation. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Norvell looking like he's down 38-3 after that penalty.
I feel like the substitution issues end up on the coaching staff. That's why, you know, I mean, it's
definitely,
you know, that's the communication that goes into it. But
so under 5 to play. FSU looking hungry for more here. They have dominated in every phase of the game tonight in the Dome. First down 15. And Campbell tripped up. As he went down quickly, tackled by Kevin Jabari, number 94. And a loss of 2. Florida State getting back inside the national rankings this week at number 23. After polishing off their rivals Miami 45-3 and clinching a bowl berth. So it was a great week for FSU before they even came to New York.
Just think about some of the wins they've had this year too. You think about that LSU win to start the season. You think about, you know, I get where Miami is right now, but that means a lot to the program. And I just continue to think that this is a team that was far away, you know, in terms of being back to what they were. It certainly feels like they're close. I mean, to beat Miami, it means a lot to the kids. You know, I'm in both programs, that football game. I just think they've done a nice job, you know, Dave, with the talent that they've added, recruiting, portal, however it, you know, it has ended up there. And then you look at, you know, then coaching and developing it and getting the buy-in, and results like that end up showing up when that happens.
They're feeling like FSU again.
It does.
Rodemaker looking downfield, surveying, fires long for the end zone and out. McClain could not stay in. So 4th down and 16.
Had a chance over there, much like the one to Portier. It was almost exactly the same thing. He just maybe has a shot had he kind of understood where he was early on. But here's the other thing I would say about Florida State that I think shows up. We've seen a lot of backups basically in this 4th quarter. The backups are good. And so what that means is, you know, one injury or an injury at a certain position group doesn't set you back.
Right.
You look at the depth at wide receiver. We said it earlier. I mean, 9 different receptions, you know, from guys on the Florida State offense early on.
Game. Offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Yeah, that's a really nice wide receiver room for Florida State.
And I think a similar thing can be said for like the defensive line. Robert Cooper's missed time. Fabian Love has missed time. They think Josh Farmer is going to be a superstar. You know, I think Jared Verse has been out and Leonard Warner has made plays. So has Patrick Payton. So I think that matters.
Rodemaker heaving again toward the end zone and off the hands of McClain. So incomplete. And so Syracuse will take over With 3 minutes left in this contest, all Florida State tonight inside.
Better.
Carlos Del Rio Wilson taking over at quarterback here for Syracuse. He's been the backup, got a chance to start last week. A flag down here. Just under 3 to play. A lot of late flags in the second half.
Foul. Face mask number 33 on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
That's Amari Gaynor for the face mask. Del Rio Wilson, the transfer from the University of Florida, got his first start last week and a loss to Pitt. And scuffled. He's also sacked 6 times, but just 8 for 23 passing the football.
He's got a lot of talent. He has a live arm, and he's a big, strong kid.
And off here to Allen as he bounces outside, stopped by Gaynor, but a first down. He is 6'2", about 230. Freshman from Atlanta. Garrett Schrader, if you're just tuning in this late, you see the score obviously, but Garrett Schrader did start for Syracuse after missing 6 quarters, but had a rough game. Just couldn't get the offense going at all. Allen once again with a flag down in the backfield. So getting sloppy here in the last few minutes.
Well, and it's been sloppy.
Offense number 60. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, you're right. Certainly has been for Syracuse.
And I think senior night, the desire to, you're playing a ranked team. You're a 6-win football team. I know a lot of people thought that the momentum Florida State was coming in here with was very different than Syracuse's, but a little bit surprised at just how sloppy and how many penalties we've seen on Syracuse.
Del Rio Wilson straight on. Looked like he may have lost it there and gotten it back with 1:38 on a running clock. So second down, 13 approaching. FSU came in leading this all-time series with Syracuse 12-2, including winning a thriller last year in Tallahassee on a 34-yard field goal as time expired. They will need no such heroics tonight. They have laid it on the Syracuse Orange. And Allen dragged down. And another flag. Man, a ton of those here late.
Just don't want to go home, Dave.
Apparently.
Personal foul. Face mask number 23 defense. 15-yard penalty for the end of the run. First down.
I'll tell you what, I count about 4 or 5 face masks too among those many penalties. So FSU with another impressive victory, about to put that one in the bank as they are moments away from improving to 7-3.
Clock will start on the snap.
As Tim said, a 9-win regular season, very much within their grasp. They are favored in the last 2, heavily favored.
And look, I've seen Florida a few times this year. Florida State.
Allen trying to find that end zone, but he's denied. Ball came free, but he was already down.
Florida State's a good football team. And, I just think that
ACC huddle coming up next immediately following our game, and it's been a fascinating day and night inside the conference once again. Just not so much here inside the Dome. This was a runaway for the Seminoles and the fans who made the long trek up here to central New York. Highly entertained, particularly by the quarterback Jordan Travis, who was marvelous tonight, and the lead running back Benson. And slowed down just shy of the goal line here. Allen with the carry. With 42 seconds to go, Syracuse just trying to get into the end zone one time.
You mentioned it earlier, Dave. There's no doubt that the Florida State defense knows that they didn't allow a touchdown last week, know what's at stake this year. Defenses take pride in this type of thing. And with the clock running down, it's certainly in reach again.
Del Rio Wilson under center with the handoff. It's Allen. Allen keeps on churning. Got really, really close, but not quite there.
And unless Syracuse hurries or uses a timeout, clock's going to run out.
Keep running. Down to 5. Down to 3.
That's the game.
And 2 and 1, and that's it. As he lurches ahead. And the clock had gone to zeros.
The clock expired before the snap. The game is over.
The game ends 38-3. Florida State keeping Syracuse out of the end zone. That's 2 consecutive weeks for Mike Norvell and FSU, keeping an opponent from scoring a touchdown.
It is, and they feel good about it. And, conversely, I get the time and stuff. You got backups in. You're trying to give them experience. Call a timeout and get the ball in the end zone, or give them a chance to get the ball in the end zone. And things like that,